Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Lost Alice. So today we are going to go on to chapter 10 because I can't get enough of this story. Mitchie, you told me before. You told me that you had to go back to the real world. You said that you wouldn't be able to move forward if you didn't. Yeah. I awkwardly nodded back before hastily continuing. But I don't know if that's the right thing to do anymore. Because... Ooh, that's pretty sure... It's either... Okay, this one. I know I'm being selfish here. I prefaced the conversation with those words before telling him how I really felt. I don't want to be apart from you, Kyle. It's been so fun spending time together with you. Wonderland is a wonderful place and all, but I now realize that it was Kyle who kept my heart here in this world. Huh? Kyle was at a loss for words, as if he were stunned. I looked him right in the eye without looking away for even a moment. Thank you, Mitchie. I never even dreamed that I would hear you say that. Kyle bashfully smiled, and I smiled back at him. At first, I thought he was a bit of a handful. Make that 2 handfuls. But after seeing how kind he was and getting a chance to see who he was as a person, I'm now closer to Kyle than anyone else in Wonderland. That was how I truly felt. Hey Kyle, the Spinner of Tales really wants me to play the role of Alice, right? Alice is to live forever in Wonderland as the protagonist of this tale. But I'm not Alice. Things were no different than before. I was Mitchie, not Alice. Yes, that was the best choice. And looks like I got passed for the good ending. Let's see if we can make it to the happy ending. Oh, there are only 7 in this one. Okay. Yes. I don't want to play out a life that someone else decided for me. I'm me. I'm not a character in someone else's tale. You feel the same way, right, Kyle? Kyle smiled back at me without saying a word, just like he always did. Are you evading the question? I pointed it out with a weary smirk. I already know you feel that way, you know. And how is that? Because you never called me Alice. The creases of Kyle's smile deepened as if he were saying to me, so you noticed. You may have used the word Alice before when referring to my position, and you used to say my Alice all the time when we first met. But you've completely stopped that ever since I got my memories back. It was then. That was when Kyle started to look at me as Mitchie rather than Alice. His amethyst-like eyes creased as he gently deepened his smile. You're a really strong person. You never cease to amaze me. Mitchie, I know you'll be able to break past whatever undesirable tale that awaits. What are you saying, Kyle? You make it sound like this has nothing to do with you. What? This is your tale, after all. I am my own person, but so are you, Kyle. Huh? Kyle blinked in surprise as if you were taken completely off guard. There are a lot of people in the world, but there is only one me. Even though you may have been given the role of Cheshire Cat, there is only one Kyle. No one can replace you. There is only one Kyle who I trust. Only you. His eyes opened wide in astonishment, and he stared at me for a moment without saying another word. Then, he eventually got the words out. You're really something else, Mitchie. I never even thought about it like that before. You're always looking ahead and moving forward. I truly admire you. And that's why We exchanged glances. He silently yet passionately gazed into each other's eyes without looking away for even a moment. No words were needed. We knew what the other was trying to say. So when he slowly drew closer, I closed my eyes and surrendered myself to him. Kyle softly placed a hand on my cheek, as if he were touching fine glass. I could sense just how close he was. Mitchie. Right after he called my name in his raspy voice. What? Okay. Get your sugar point checked. Get rewarded with wonderful items. Oh, I am so close. Let's see. Do I even have any? Yeah, I played this right before, but I ran out of... I think I can get to it. Hold on. Let's see, I have just enough. Okay, and all the way up to 60. Okay. Alright. I think... Let's see. Nope, is it under cupcake? Yes, it is. Yay. $20 completed. Okay. I think that's enough, but I'm just gonna play one more. And I realize sugar points are important now. Okay. Back to the sugar point. Alright, and continue. Cleared. Congrats, here's your reward. Bring it on. Yes. Oh. Well. Okay. Kyle softly placed a hand on my cheek, as if he were touching fine glass. I could sense just how close he was. Mitchie. Right after he called my name in his raspy voice. The distance between our lips faded and our lips touched. A sweet, soft kiss, just making sure the other was really there. Kyle was being almost surprisingly careful. He really cares about me. That alone was enough for me to know how he really felt. I could feel his warmth spreading within. I felt nervous but relieved. I'm so happy. Kyle and I had our share of problems and miscommunication before. But for now, at this moment, our hearts were truly one. Feelings of accepting the harsh reality of my past and moving forward, and feelings of my desire to protect Kyle. These emotions intertwined within me, filling my heart. Being touched like this, having Kyle here with me, being loved by Kyle. Everything made me so happy that I was smiling before I even realized it. Eventually, Kyle softly exhaled and created some distance between us. He once again gazed into my soul with his beautiful amethyst-like eyes. I opened my mouth before the warmth of our kiss faded. I want to go back to the real world. Nothing changes that. But I hate giving up. The spinner of tales isn't going to let you go if you leave behind this world. And I cannot let that happen. I want to return to the real world. And I also want to protect you, Kyle. I am going to make both of these wishes come true. Just you wait. Mitchie. Kyle creased his eyes as if he were dazzled by the light, and he smirked in a troubled manner. Oh. Yes. She must be exhausted from walking around Wonderland all day and processing so much new information. I laid the slumbering girl down onto the bed as gently as possible. Then, making sure I didn't wake Mitchie up, I carefully brushed the blonde hair off her cheek. Good night, my Mitchie. I softly kissed her on the cheek and turned on my heel. I quietly left my home, making sure to get out before dawn broke. I opened my eyes, bathing in the morning sun. I didn't remember getting into bed, but I must have fallen asleep after our talk. Kyle? Kyle was nowhere to be found. I started to feel uneasy for some reason, and I leapt out of the bed. Kyle, where are you? I called out his name as I searched, but to no avail. I got a really bad feeling about this. Struck with anxiety, I ran out of the house in search of him. I rushed through the familiar city asking if anyone had seen Kyle, but nobody had. Right when I started to lose hope, I caught a glimpse of a familiar figure. Joker! The moment I yelled out his name, he gave me a smile and shrugged. What's up, Alice? Are you sure you should even be talking to me? What is going on? Cheshire Cat's probably going to get pretty angry if he sees us together. You remember how we got last time, right? Don't you worry about that. You were helping me get my memories back. Kyle might feel a little conflicted about it all, but I'm grateful for what you did. More importantly, have you seen Kyle this morning? He just disappeared all of a sudden. I did see him, now that you mention it. It was weird seeing him when he wasn't drooling all over you. It looked like he was heading toward the Lost Forest. I just saw him, though, so I don't know why. The Lost Woods? Thanks, Joker. See you later. Hey, don't trip and look both ways. I heard Joker's sarcastic voice in the background as I ran into the forest. He's not here either. I called out Kyle's name over and over again as I walked through the forest. However, he was still nowhere to be found. Wait, did Kyle? A suddenly thought hit me, and I lifted my head up. Even though it was only a hunch, I gradually picked up pace, rushing through the forest. The mysterious place I first woke up in Wonderland. This was where I ended up. And just like I thought, I found Kyle standing motionless in the center of the cave. And behind him was a giant mirror. Its elaborate design caught my eye, but there was something mysterious about it that caught my attention. I just saw you come out of a giant mirror, and you've been sleeping here ever since, that's all. Is this the mirror that Joker was talking about? Then that would mean that this mirror could take me back to the real world. Even with that in mind, I walked straight over to Kyle. I finally found you, Kyle. What's going on? First, you disappear on me all of a sudden, and now I find you standing in front of a strange mirror. I asked in a harsh tone, to which Kyle just sorrowfully smiled back at me. This mirror was already here when I got here. But things don't appear to be out of nowhere, you know. Yeah, but I wasn't the one who summoned this mirror. It was you, Mitchie. Me? The road home appeared because you decided to face reality. I hesitated for a second. It wasn't like I was afraid to return to the real world, but there were still things I had to do. But I can't go back, not yet. Why? I haven't figured out how I'm going to protect you. If I go back to the real world now, then Kyle would sure face the wrath of the Spinner of Tales. Kyle gently shook his head, preventing me from saying another word. Don't worry about that. I came here so that I could bring you here. What? Then, does that mean you disappeared all of a sudden because you knew I would come after you? Yes, Mitchie, because I thought you wouldn't come here if I didn't do this. I was worried that you might stay here a little longer for me. Kyle spoke with such a sweet note in his voice as he smiled. Mitchie. He called out my name ever so dearly and carefully reached out. Kyle tightly wrapped his arms around me and held me close. The role of Cheshire Cat is to guide Alice around Wonderland, and my role, the role of the Chess King, is to rule the Chess Kingdom. Each resident of Wonderland has their own given role, which gives meaning to life and our absolute rules. At least, that's how it's supposed to be. However, it appears that Kyle has found a different path. The time to say farewell is near, for that is the path he has chosen. However, Alice, she will not give up, I suppose. We have not known each other for long, but that was the kind of lady Alice was. And because of that, she was able to change the man known as Kyle. And that was the best choice. And we're gonna go home. Because, oh my gosh. Oh boy, this just keeps getting more interesting as we keep going along. Oh, wow, I wonder how... Let's see, that was chapter 10, so only 3 more chapters left. Oh boy. So, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.